Hello, welcome to circuit breaker implementation using resilience4j. In earlier session, we have seen about success scenario and failure scenario. Now we need to see solution. So, how we are going to provide solution means by adding required properties, by adding required dependencies, and few code changes. Let us see what are the dependencies we need to add. Go to pom.xml under user service. So this is a user service pom.xml, and in this I have added resilience4j supported properties. Three properties I will upload into the video session. And here you can see org.springframework.boot, and this is a actuator. So what this actuator will do means this will monitor health of the service. That means whether the service is down or up or halfway open, or if it is completely shut down. So it will monitor the health of the service, and it will indicate whether the service is in a good condition or not. So based to provide all those features, we need to add actuator. So that is Spring Boot Starter actuator and Resilience 4J. So using this, we will implement circuit breaker implementation. So this Resilience 4J also we need to add. That one we will get it from Spring Cloud Starter Circuit Breaker Resilience 4J and Spring Boot Starter AOP. So aspect oriented programming also it will support. So for that we need to add AOP. So to achieve circuit breaker implementation using Resilience 4J, we need to add these three dependencies. I will separately provide this this dependencies notes, and you have to just copy paste in your pom.xml, or else you can go to start.spring.io website. From there also you can get it, or else you can download from the any Google search. You will get it. So basically, you need to ensure actuator, resilience 4J, and AOP. Next part is, as I said, we need required properties. So what are those properties? In earlier also we have discussed what are all those properties. So first and foremost property, go to application.properties, and first and foremost property we are seeing as a sliding window size 10. So this one we already discussed, and this is the limit of the services. We can say per minute, per hit, or per second, per minute. So this is a number of hits, we can say 10. So that starts with the resilience 4J and circuit breaker, and under circuit breaker it will be instances and fain ms. This is a fain ms, and I am giving as a user service. Like here we are giving as a user service. So you can say that user service is this one. So user microservice, I'll give it as a user microservice. We can say that this is a user microservice. We can say user microservice. We'll add it. In your workspace, it would be fain ms. You need to change to user microservice, because fain microservice nothing but user microservice only. This one we need to add. After that, instances and user service and sliding window. So actual property starts from here. In YML, declaration will be different format. Suppose in application.yml, this kind of property we have to define. If you are trying to access the properties from application.yml, you can, but I am preferring to use application.properties. This is somewhat convenient. And next one is a failure rate threshold. So in earlier also we have discussed failure rate threshold we have discussed. So here failure rate would be 50%. So that is the reason I am giving as a failure rate threshold is 50%. 50 means 50%. Suppose in 10 calls 50% of the calls, 5 calls are failing means, so it will failure rate threshold, it would be decided 50 percentage. Next one is a wait duration in open state. So once the services started failed, that means the service is going to open. So here open, the state is opened. So how much time it would be decided, how much time it would be resetted in a open state? It could be 5 seconds or it could be 30 milliseconds. So 30,000 means milliseconds, or else you can also give 3 seconds. So if you are mentioning 3 seconds, it would be 3 seconds. Within 3 seconds, it would be in a open state. Only it will reside open state will be 30 seconds, 30 milliseconds. If you are keeping 5 seconds, 3 seconds, it all up to you. You can decide. Next one is automatic transition from open to off open. So already state became as a open. So 50% of the service calls are failed. So it would become as a open state. Once open state is 30 seconds, 30 milliseconds passed, then it will be from open to off open state. So that one we need to give the property as a true. So that no automatically it will become as a open state to off open. So here next, permitted number of calls in off open state. So that means 5 calls. So I will give 3 calls. So these 3 calls, even though it is off open, we will be able to hit 3 times. We will be able to hit 3 times. So if the off open, those 3 calls are success means, then off open will become as a closed state. If it is those 3 calls also failed means, again it is going to become the status as open. So I hope you understand this one. Closed means a service is up and running fine, and open means the service is having some issue. So it will keep open in a few seconds. After that it will become as a off open. During off open we will be allowed only 3 hits. So after 3 hits, if it is all those 3 hits are success, then it will become as a closed state, or else if it is failing, again it will be becoming as a open. So all these things we can achieve when we define the properties, these kind of properties. Then health indicator to fail true, and register health indicator true, and other things circuit breaker enabled, web exposure include health. These are and details, show details. By using this property it would be shown the details always. So these are the properties. As we discussed, we have seen the required properties, and we have seen dependencies. Now we will see the code. So what would be the code? After adding these dependencies, we need to go to our controller. Which controller? User controller we need to go, and here we will be having this code. So in earlier we will not be having this code, we will be only having this code. Okay. So now if get mapping, if we want to implement circuit breaker, we need to add a circuit breaker at the rate annotation, and fain, this is a name of the service. So name of the service, where we are getting means, here properties we are using name of the service. So name of the service is a user microservice. You can go and here you can add user services, user microservice. And fallback method, fallback method is fallback get students. This method get students. So if this method is failed, then it will be going to fallback get students. So that is the reason this method is represented here, fallback get students. So this, using this annotation, we are going to define name, and if this method is failed, or if this method is down, so this service is trying to hit the details from the get students. That means this user service is going to hit the list of students. So server is down. So that means here if you see in our server, here these both are running, not running, student details is down. So that means whenever student details is down, then student details service is down, and we will not get the any detail response from student details. So that time it would be automatically called a fallback method. So that fallback method, what it is doing is exception we are doing, because here we are not passing any parameters. So if no parameters are there, exception. And this is a student's list student we need to get. And here you need to make a note. This method signature is going to be same as for the fallback get students. That is the reason. So here method signature return type list students. So same like we are defining. This one you need to understand, you need to make a note. This method signature and fallback method signature would be same. So once object instance defined, and we need to set the fallback response, default response. Default response, I am creating three instances. One is Vasu, another one is Srini, and Rao. So Hyderabad, Vasu, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these details, three students, and adding to students object, and that one we are going to return. So that means we are going to return this response. Even though service is failed and service is down and the service will not be able to serve, and we will get the 500 error. Instead of 500 error, we need to show this kind of output as a response. Always it would be shown as the response. Then how are we going to understand whether the service is down or not? Means we will be having actuator. So using actuator we will be able to understand whether the service is up and running and closed. So all those features we will be able to see using the actuator dependency. So that one also we will be able to see. Now let me run this one. Now I am going to run the service, and it is down. So service is down. First I will show again, once again I will show as the service is up and running with the internal server error. So internal server error means I need to comment this one. So circuit breaker I will comment it. And circuit breaker I will comment it, and I will run the code, and I will get the 500 server error. And this testing and verification I will show in another video. Till then, thank you.